28th of February to the 15th of March. How was the atmosphere around? How many people, how many women organizations were at the conference?
I was actually surprised. I was so impressed that so many women are speaking out, they're standing up for their rights. And also this Commission on Status of Women is a commission of the United Nations, and it's a part of the Economic and Social Council, and also WAGS is a representative of that. And also that there were certain NGO groups and international NGO groups, as well as some other clubs and societies where women involve themselves to stop this violence. And also it's just not that we spoke about not just stopping violence, but also bringing up these agreed conclusions into action. And we spoke about how to empower women and to bring up this girl child, especially the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts were more interested about the topic of girl child. So also we attended UN sessions which were held with the member states, participation of the member states, and also there were side events and parallel events. Side events were held at the United Nations headquarters, but the parallel events were held outside the UN headquarters. And to attend for the UN sessions and the side events, you needed a ground pass. Otherwise, you cannot enter the North Lawn building. But other than that, all the parallel events, I could show you.
Yes, please.
Okay.
You will take us through, because it is incredible. And folks, here's the thing. The last time that the Sri Lanka was represented at the conference was in 2010.
2011, I would say, 55th one.
So, and you are representing the World Organization and somehow representing Sri Lanka as well, although we don't have an official delegation.
Exactly. So, I was kind of actually sad and a bit embarrassed because there were delegates from Netherlands, the UK, Australia and Canada and some other places, and they all had like their own national delegations. But we unfortunately didn't have one. But I was actually representing the World Association, but I made sure that I put out the fact that I was also from Sri Lanka. I was proud about that. And this was the book of all the parallel events. We were asked to choose the events we want to take part in, because certain issues which were discussed were not relevant to our context, because for example female genital mutilation and female infanticide, things like that were not relevant to Sri Lanka. So I had to choose where the parallel events were relevant mostly to my country.
Okay, before we get to the serious stuff, you have a lot of bracelets with you and a nice little band around your neck. If you could just tell us the lighter side of the conference, how was the camaraderie? Because they always say, like, you put a group of women together, in a little while there'll be arguments. Sadly, that is how we are represented. But in truth, actually, men argue more, according to studies. They're more quiet about it. Women are more vocal. So how was the atmosphere?
Yeah, there were certain arguments. People did discuss about certain, and they did not agree, and they disagreed. But we made sure that we all were there for one main aim. That was to do whatever we can to stop the violence against girls and young women. And also, as the World Association, we had to take part in certain events, and also we had our own campaign, which is the Stop the Violence campaign, which I am wearing this band, and this t-shirt also is from our campaign, and I would like to give you one.
Oh, thank you. I will wear right
please,
now. Yes,
which shows that you speak out, to say you join our campaign. And we had certain promotional activities. We had pledge cards where we give to all the distinguished participants to write their pledge, say that I speak out, and say that we need to stop violence against women. And we were lucky that we were able to get the pledge from Michelle Bachelet. She's the former president of the UN Women. And also there were certain other distinguished participants.
When it comes to the issues, because like what you mentioned, you are part of the youth delegate. Okay, we describe as the progressive thinkers, the one that wants to have everything done quickly. Like, it has to be done quickly and soon, and we can't wait. And then you have the little bit of the older generation. Was there a little bit of a conflict as to how to implement certain, because they say we are in the age of very passionate, very driven, jump off the cliff, and they're the ones who are experienced who said, hold on, young lady, slow down. Is that how it is also the conference?
No, actually, I actually didn't experience as such, because I found that everyone who were there were very passionate about this, and even the adults, elderly women, everyone was just in. They just spoke out. They just expressed themselves, and also they said, whoever they were, they just expressed that we need to make the work progress very fast, and like we need to take all the actions possible to stop this, because see, we find that these rights of women are violated, and it's growing so fast. Day by day we hear so many cases around the world. It's not just here or somewhere else, it's just around the world we hear so many cases.
Was there a particular story or a particular let's say I'm not sure how to call it, like a story delivered by someone that made you realize something really needs to be done when it comes to stopping violence against women? Was there a story that stands out in your mind? Like when you came back to Sri Lanka, people were saying, what happened? Was there a story?
Yeah, definitely. I was invited to take part and to be one of the panelists among two other panelists, one from New York and one from El Salvador, which was a UN Foundation event called as Girl Up Rising, and there we were shown a trailer which is to be released soon. And it had, like, they have taken few stories from like India, Pakistan, and Somalia, and a few other countries, and they show that, and it was so sad that you feel that just girls of your same age are facing such violence, and why can't we stop such violence? And also I was able to speak out and say the personal experience I had in Sri Lanka as a girl, and also the things I'm planning to do in future to stop the violence. So I actually thought that they might even not know where Sri Lanka was in the world, but I was so impressed that people knew about Sri Lanka. They were so interested. They wanted
2012 country to be visited in 2012 was number one in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, and I was so impressed. I was so proud that people are keen about Sri Lanka, and they wanted to know more about Sri Lanka. And also that one of the other panelists, she mentioned about her personal experience and what her mother has gone through, and she almost cried. And I actually felt deep inside, I felt so sad. Even I got tears in my eyes. So that was one situation when I felt really deep.
Well, at the end of the conference, what was the result, or was there a paper drawn by the conference? Was there to get to talk to the United Nations and Secretary General? What's the next step?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to take part in the UN session on the International Women's Day itself, and there in the morning session, the UN Secretary Ban Ki-moon, he spoke, and he urged the fact that governments has to implement these agreed conclusions, which everyone who took part in that conference, they were working on. And I'm so happy that last year it has been a bit of a failure, and they were not able to have this outcome document, but this year they finalized on it, and it was agreed that the agreed conclusion should proceed.
Okay, now you are in New York with this conference, and New York being has now equality, marriage equality, and the rights of women are well, most of the time observed. So you fly back to Sri Lanka, where sadly a lot of things need to be done still. I mean, there are times that, you know, a lot of things when it comes to looking at women, treating women in the country. What was the first thing that you made yourself say, this is what I'm going to do when I get home?
Okay, I promised myself that I am going to do some change. It could be small or big or whatever it is. I'm definitely going to speak up and definitely going to work on it, because we were actually given a action kit where we have to work on a certain project, because the World Association, they funded us, they brought us there, and so we have to work on it. And as a girl guide, I have to be true, honest to myself. So I will definitely work on it. But just that I just kind of felt small comparison that in New York I felt that they have a lot of issues there. There's a lot of issues there. It's just not that we just have only in Sri Lanka or India or anywhere, but it's just that they too have a lot of issues. But I felt that the freedom the girls
To speak?
to speak and come out and express themselves, or to find opportunities or chances to make choices in life, is just that we don't have it in Sri Lanka. I felt that. It's just that we don't have enough. Not that we don't have freedom as a girl, as girls, but I would say we just lack a bit of it. We need more freedom. We need more opportunities and chances to make choices in life. And also, if we can have more support from the elders or anyone in the society to work on these issues, it would be nice.
So to those watching right now, your age, 19 years old, what can the younger generation, what can you tell them if they haven't realized it, that you are an equal? We may be, like what I always say, we may be physically weaker than the male gender, but we have gifts that they are of a weaker, the weaker state. It's. I mean, if you believe in God or higher power, if you really look at it, things are actually equal. What can you tell them? For those ones, same age as you.
I would say whether it's a girl or a boy, they both have to have equal rights. It's not that, it's just that girls have, the people believe that girls have like physically, mentally, emotionally, or economically less power. But I believe that truly girls have a lot of power. They are strong. They definitely, I mean,
We're the one who gives birth. Which is the most painful pain of it, according to a study. No, but seriously, and so that's the thing. But for the older generation who have been not taught, but whose eyes have been opened that you are a female, you are to be silent, you are to respect the views of. It's sometimes it feels like it's actually unreal, but the male of the household that you're supposed to follow. What can you say? I mean, for you who've been there, who've seen this, who've heard the stories, who've seen the people, what can you tell them?
I would say that, I mean, girls or young people would like to have a bit of freedom. I mean, they would want to do what they like to do, and also it's just that we need parents, elders to protect us, or to advise us what to do and what not to do, or to make us go in the right path, but not to restrict us. Just give us some freedom so that we can make our own choices, but be behind us and stay behind us and tell us you have to do this and that, but just that a little bit of freedom. And also they should also involve with us and help us, support us, give us guidance, encourage us, motivate us to work on these issues and to bring a bigger change in the society and to stop the violence.
Okay, now you've seen the possibility, you've heard the speeches. What is the next step for you on a personal level? What's the next step for you? Do you see yourself in politics, in NGO work? Do you see yourself, how do you see yourself being a lawyer, doctor, business person?
Actually, to tell the truth, from the small days itself, I've never just wanted to be a doctor. Okay, I'm going to be a doctor, or teacher, or engineer, or someone like, not just physics. I've always wanted to be happy in whatever I do. It's just that doing these small kind of things, doing service to the society, just seeing other people happy, has always made me happy. So I just...
That's a wonderful answer. A lot of people don't realize that. I remember a quote from John Lennon that when he was growing up, he was taught by his mother, the goal in life is to be happy. When he went to school, the teacher asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he said, happy. And he failed that exam. And he said, and then he answered his teacher, you probably don't know how to live your life. So I applaud you that you want to be happy, and there's so many things that you look forward to, and I know you will make it so much difference. And